football, bloody hell. But they never give in. And that's the winner.
Welcome to the American Red Devils podcast. I'm John.
I'm Alex.
And we're bringing you the best Manchester United news from this side of the pond.
Woo, sir. How we doing? Preseason is a wrap. Summer is on. And the beginning of the 24-25 season for Manchester United is right around the corner, sir. We are done with the States. They're headed back to Manchester. Done with the humidity. I think it's going to be a lot cooler back in Manchester. How are we feeling? How are we doing?
Wrapping up the American preseason tour. 2 horrific injuries. Swift kick to the nuts by Arnie Slot and those Scouse bastards. But you know what? We're talking about practice. Not worried about a thing. Ineos has a lot of wood to chop, like you have famously been saying on the pod. And it's all about getting smart business done and wrapped up because it's going to make a difference. With these injuries, we need players. Like Ten Hag already thinking about Bruno and Sancho at striker, we're hearing. Xerxes not 100% ready to go. All teams are going to be kind of racing back, and this Community Shield is going to be a riot. So everybody get ready, strap in. Could be, if we lose big, it's, hey, we got a lot of pieces coming back. If we win, it's the, cherry on top. We get a trophy, celebrate, but it's just going to be what's going to be, and we have to buckle up for a long season.
No, 100%. I think a lot of fans need to start echoing that sentiment. Fun opportunity to go to Wembley. Any opportunity you have to go to Wembley and pick up a piece of silverware, even a piece of silverware as trivial as the Community Shield, is good. It's good for morale. You probably, if you were to pick it out of a lineup, you wouldn't necessarily love that scenario this season, given all the changes that are happening, the Euros, the Copa America, and the like. But either way, our season starts a week earlier than everybody else, and then we're going to be off to the races from there. So a lot of moving pieces, a lot of injuries, a lot of players coming back from fitness. But at the end of the day, we're playing City in a cup final at Wembley a week from this weekend. So a lot to look forward to, a lot of moving pieces. It's going to be a stop-start kind of season with players coming back from injury, like the players you mentioned. There's still transfers to be made, right? There's a lot of moving pieces. The squad today on the 4th of August is not the squad that we'll have on the 4th of September. And Ineos have given themselves a lot of work to do. They came out to a hot start. But I'm not worried about Arnie Slot and his men, sir. I'm not worried about the Scousers. I'm worried about other teams in England. I'm worried about United. But it's going to be a season of transition. So I think people should manage expectations and hope for the best and expect the worst.
Yeah, like we said, it's going to be – the football will be better, like we saw against Liverpool. Like we created a lot of chances. The XG was probably edged to United. Stat sheet looked good. We lost. Sloppy defending. Obviously, it's preseason, but whatever. It's like I want to see us starting to really open teams up and create, which we saw. We didn't finish. And I want to see an exciting brand of football. And sometimes you're going to get beat 3-0 when you're trying to play that way. And that's an acceptable way to learn. Now, letting Burnley cook you for 22 shots at home, that is not acceptable. And that's what we were calling out last season. So at the end of the day, I think I like the project so far. I have a longer-term mindset with Ineos at the wheel, and that's really calming things. And I'm excited to see what they're going to do in the front office and let Ten Hag coach on the pitch. But just need to see better football. We're going to see similar mid-table results, but how can we expect anything else right now at Manchester United? But sir, let's jump into it. We got a quick PSA for the podcast. If you like the American Red Devils, we're on YouTube. Alex is running the show today. I'm remote. So good luck, Alex. There's quite a bit to juggle over there.
Good luck to the fans.
Usually I'm in that seat. Alex, what would you say? Like you're kind of a, not that technical. So how does it feel to be running this whole thing?
I'll tell you what, if it was just Alex and Alex, the two Alexes, there were two of me, we would not be on video. The audio would not have stepped up in a material way like it did over the last couple of years because of the hard work from John. And we're one of those where we're more than the sum of our parts. So appreciate it, sir. Appreciate the fans.
No, you're like a cup and string guy, like that's kind of
give me
like
a sled, give me a football sled and I'll push it, where we're going, how we're going to get there. Just tell me to push.
So bear with us, but if you enjoy the pod, check out our YouTube page. We're getting it off the ground. You can search YouTube. Just write America Red Devils. Like, subscribe goes a long way to help us. And we have the Muppet of the Week, Jimmy Danger. Quote, "Bunker looks sick, lads. Keep up the good work." Also, now you have video. We can actually see how much faster John is than Wout. I was actually thinking about this the other day. There is a track nearby. We probably need to get some. I was looking for Wout's top speed online, just to see if I could top that one. But
And did you find it?
I have been running. So Wout, beware. But I would race him even if I lost. If you want to be the Muppet of the Week, please comment below our YouTube video, and we'll select your comment. All the best ones, the funnier the better. We'll read them out on the podcast. Also, sir, check out our Patreon page. We don't have any commercial sponsors, no ads on the podcast. We do it for the love of the game, and we're supported by fans like yourselves who like the Muppet Take. We do a behind-the-scenes episode every single month. Please check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/America Red Devils, and also our store. We have our new Viva Garnacho scarf in stock. Please check it out. Pick it up. We do a new scarf every single season. We have tons on our store, plus other things like this great shirt that you can pick up, other ARD merch for all the Muppets around the world. Please check it out. We did have a bug in our Shopify store that was blocking anyone from buying anything. I think Alex might have kicked the can
there you
while
go,
he was in
baby.
the warehouse. So
That's
if
why
you
I'm
tried
here.
to buy a scarf and it didn't work, grab one. So that's kind of the operation you're dealing with here. But like we said, also, sir, tell about iTunes reviews.
Beyond the ways John mentioned, beyond the ways that he mentioned to support the pod with his Patreon or buying merch from the store, another way you can support the pod is writing 5-star reviews on iTunes or Spotify. And if you do so, we're giving away free merch. Just write a 5-star review on those two platforms and send a screenshot of that review to AmericanRedDevils@gmail.com with your mailing address, and I'll personally pick, pack, and ship some free ARD gear. Send it right to your door anywhere in the world, sir. Let's get into it. Let's get into some EPL action. EPL action.
Some preseason. Talking about practice, sir. What do we got? We got the Scouse Bastards versus Manchester United. 3-0. Didn't really like it, but if you look at the stat sheet, I think it told a totally different story. United had 18 shots on target, 8 shots on target, 18 shots to Liverpool's 9-5. Possession right down the middle, but obviously I think we had more of the XG given the opportunities, but they had those 3 goals. Carvalho cooked Casemiro. Yikes.
Yeah,
Curtis Jones.
Not great.
And then Curtis Jones, AWB at the back post, not great. And then I can't even say his name. Tamikas, I want to say. That goal was bad as well. So 3 bad goals, poor defending. We're used to that, at least from last season. So you don't like to see that. No reason to freak out, though. Mason Mount looked good. Rashford looked sharp. Hopefully he's going to be ready to hit a bunch of goals for United this season. So I'm not worried about it at all. Even our Liverpool friend texted us. I wish this would have counted. And so we're going to play him in about 30 days. So it will be for keeps, and we got to show up much better than we did today.
100%. There are positives to take out of this. Like you mentioned, we did create some chances. I thought we looked decent in the first half. Defending was sloppy. We were definitely open in the midfield, opener that you want us to be. So the positives are positive, right? Like Ahmad continuing to look sharp. I thought Mason Mount looked good. His work rate is really exciting to see. Same with Rashi. Rashi is looking better in fitness, better in sharpness, right? He beat a couple of guys on the left pretty well. And then the issues remain, right? Casemiro continues to be a liability in the middle of the park. Lindelöf got the Lindelof's up because Magoo had a little bit of a knock, so him being a starter has its concerns. Harry Amass, a player with so much potential, is not quite ready probably for the big leagues, and we have to make sure we don't force that.
He's going to play. Collyer and Amass are going to play. It's in Ineos. It's just the way it's going to be. We're not going to sign a left back. We can't be signing a right back. Obviously, Nasir can play both. But Amass is going to be the default. What Malacia should have been, and what's going on with Malacia? It's a whole other thing where it's just like finding Carmen Sandiego for everybody who remembers that game. So that dates me.
Throwback. I like it. I dig it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if he starts, because now you got Diallo. He's back at Carrington. Maybe he starts, depending on what happens to AWB. He can start a left back. We saw that a little bit last season. Is Magoo a serious injury? Is Martinez? I don't even know when he's back at Carrington. I did not see him back yet because he actually went to a final. So there's a lot of moving pieces. I agree. We're going to have holes in it regardless. But the positives are the positives, the negatives are the negatives. But like, it's a lot of work to be done between now and there. But like, the same challenges we had last season at times, right? Obviously, most of last season we were getting just out XG all the time. The opportunities where we would show up and create some chances, we couldn't finish. We saw that yesterday with the game against the Scouse Bastards, and then like giving away stupid errors, making silly mistakes, getting the Casemiro one comes to heart.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It's like it doesn't count because it's preseason. It's like one of the seasons like Casemiro. Like I don't even mind him getting cooked because it's preseason. But if you get done like that in the regular season, like you got to retire. I mean, like everybody gets a pass because it's practice at a certain point. So let's just jump through that lineup, sir. You want to just get into it?
Yeah, let's get in. So Anana, he came back with his starting spot at net. He had a back line of AWB, Evans, Lindelof, and Amass. That's your starting back four if you could pick it. Casemiro, Collyer, and Mount in the midfield. It's good to see Mount back in instead of McSauce. And then Ahmad on the right, Sancho up front, and Rashford on the left, sir. This is not going to be the 11 for the Community Shield, but it'll be close.
Bruno's got to play.
No, Bruno's gonna start.
Like you're gonna get some big hitters in there. But you Sancho at number 9. I want like last preseason, Sancho looked good at number 9, and I wanted him to start there at the start of the season, and then whatever happened. So I'm hoping this time it doesn't go that same way because Sancho should start at number 9 for Manchester United in the Community Shield. And he doesn't just play number 9. He obviously comes deep, gathers the ball. He's like can play both sides in the box. He's much more dynamic. We saw it today. Linked up with Collyer, but Collyer wasn't like wise to it. Him and Rashford and Diallo in the box. If we can hold possession and get it up into City's third, it's going to be dangerous. And obviously, you have Bruno in the mix. It's can Collyer and Casemiro. That's where you're really looking at like the liability, and then behind them, you add even more. But like I wouldn't be surprised to see Amass start the Community Shield. And this is going to be one of those things where it's like, hey, sink or swim, kid. We just need someone to own that spot. And I think he can. It's just going to be some nervy moments. Every youngster coming through, like Kambwala, we saw the highs and we saw the lows. Even Twanzebe, we saw the night in Paris. We also saw him get cooked in the league. So you're going to have a lot of highs and lows with youngsters, and I'm hoping we can get Collyer and Amass working into United because those would be like 2 new signings, and then hopefully Ineos can do some solid business. But they're going to hold tight to the end of the window because that's when the real deals are going to be made.
That's a very good point, because these guys are looking for bargains. If they were the old regime, they would have already met De Ligt's price from Bayern, but they're really trying to get a good deal given that he's not on insignificant wages, even though he's rumored to take a little bit of a pay cut. But very good point. So I think the front 3 is locked on, like with complete certainty that will be the front 3, I would imagine, for the Community Shield. What he does in midfield, I don't know, because you have McTominay. We saw that quite well, obviously, in the FA Cup final. Is he going to go back to
He wants to play him in a 10. He wants him getting forward. And, I think that's where I disagree with McTominay's use.
No, I don't. I'm not dying on any hill around the midfield. I just think there'll be some changes. I think McSauce can come in for for the cup. I think Bruno is definitely going to start. There's like absolute.
It is a final. It's a Community Shield final.
It's a final. It's crazy. So Bruno's going to play. So Collyer will probably drop out. I think Diallo will start. So I don't think he'll throw Amass in the deep end. But you might see Evans and Lindelof, which is a little scary. But hey, like you said, it's like this going to be a big window, and it's going to be at the end of the window. So we'll see, but it's going to be fun either way, and I'm looking forward to the season, sir. I'm looking forward to the season.
When it comes to the Community Shield, and we're going to break that down midweek, it really is don't get embarrassed.
Yeah.
Like that's really what it is. It's like City's not going to be high flying. Can we get Manu in the midfield? That would cheer me up quite a bit. And Manu, Bruno, like get some dogs in there, have a go. It'd be fun. Just can't get absolutely just destroyed by City. And so I don't think we will because they're not firing all cylinders. The Community Shield is one of those games that historically we've been in it a lot, won it a lot. And as a fan, for those who haven't seen United play in a Community Shield in a while, it's one of those games where you're playing at full speed, but you're not ready for full speed. And so both teams are usually like gassed in the 40th minute because they're going full blast. and they don't have the engine ready to go. And it's this kind of awkward game where there's something on the line and everyone's going 110, but they're not fit enough. And so usually subs are going to make a difference. And who's gotten the best, what team has gotten their best players fit will make a difference. And so it's definitely an awkward tweener type of trophy because of the timing.
No, it's a very good point. I didn't even think about that because people treat it seriously. And it's usually hot because it's August. It's August in London, which, can be mild, but can be very hot. Shout out Hackney Half. We know about that. But all the points you made are very valid. The only thing is they have one player who's ready to rock, and his name is Erling Haaland because he did jack shit over the summer besides relax. And he was banging it. He scored a hat trick against Chelsea on their preseason, so he's going to be ready to go, which makes me more concerned. Yeah, have you ever heard of him? The big Norwegian with a ponytail.
Never heard of him.
Can't wait. Like I said, I agree. Let's just not get embarrassed. It's a free game. We get to play. We get to play against City. I'd love to pip him twice in a couple months. That would make me very happy. But the real season starts the week after. It starts against Brighton, and that's when we get down to business. Like, you can't get embarrassed because that sets the tone for the rest of the next couple of weeks, but it'd be fun to pip him. I just want us to show up and play with some heart and go out there and play some decent football because I'm not expecting much from this season. I am expecting us to do better than Arnie Slot. I think that guy is a proper chump, and I think Liverpool are a bit of a mess at the moment. But City, they are the least dangerous at the beginning of the season, to be fair, because they always they're like a freight train. They ramp up ahead of steam, and then by like January they're in full blast, and then they're hard to stop.
They are a slow starter, but it is going to be a derby. But yeah, I mean, let's just recap preseason at a high level. Rosenborg, it started out where we just got beat by Norwegian nobodies, I'm going to nickname them, and then we beat Rangers, which was nice. Diallo kind of really shined in that game. Then Arsenal 2-1, sir. But we won in penalties. I've never seen that before. Very interesting, but it happened. So I think that counts as a win, technically. And then Betis 3-2, more the same. Diallo shining. And then Liverpool kind of cooking us. The real highlight is the injuries. Leny Yoro and Hojlund, those are two players that it is brutal. That it can't be. I can't remember a season where players who are that important got injured in preseason. Like, I remember players carrying injuries from prior seasons, like Martinez not featuring in preseason and trying to get to fitness and then struggling. But I never remember like you're a striker out for 6 or 8 weeks. I don't recall it. I just think something's going on with the trainers where it's like they got to be clear to these guys, like, hey, it's preseason. This is just about jogging around, getting fit. And for some reason, we got 2 in the summer, not even 1. And Alex famously said, one won't be a big deal, and they're both a big deal.
Yeah, I love it. Like, whenever I'm wrong, you point it out. Whenever you're right, you point it out. Tell me more about how you got it. We usually, I'm trying to think back when we had a bad injury in the summer. I think maybe like Luke Shaw had one like years and years ago. Usually doesn't happen twice in one game. You get 2 bad-ins, so I'll own that. I
don't remember even. I remember Luke Shaw's like leg break early in the season, but I don't remember like a preseason, like Wayne Rooney ready for the season to get injured in preseason. I don't remember any big player going down. And was it Mainu?
That's a good point. Mainu got hurt last preseason, and he was poised to start the season as a starter.
This is like new. This is like a new phenomenon. Also, preseason games are chippier than I've ever seen too, which is kind of strange. It used to just be like kind of like really super light. Like, people were not really going into challenges, and now I feel like they're definitely coming up with some salt and vinegar. I don't know why.
I think there's some takeaways from this preseason from a high level. Like, I think last year, obviously, we still had the clown show running things. You had the Glazers in charge, and that was a fucking disaster on so many different levels. The amount of games, the amount of travel, I can go on all day. This go around, they've already learned some things. So they went from 8 games to 5 games. I think there will be learnings for next preseason, next year. You avoid Rosenborg.
4's enough. 4's enough.
No, 4's enough, but you don't play a team who's in the middle of their season in the first game of preseason. That was a mistake.
No, it's a closed door game. The first game's closed door.
And whoever it is, it's not against a full speed team that's like literally fit, because fitness is such a big deal in football that was a mistake. What else is a mistake?
No, they fly us out. They fly you and me.
Give me some
and
road.
A couple of the ARD fan. We get on. They get chartered a jet. They call us up. We go and they play against us, right? Because we're not gonna they don't need to run that hard, chase us down.
I don't need to play good. I'm good, bro. You can go run around for 90 minutes.
Alex just center back, bro.
In fucking Norway. I'm good, bro. I got a broken fifth metatarsal and I got my knees hanging on by strings, and this guy wants me to have running up and down in Rosenborg against a bunch of Scandinavians. I'm good. You go for it.
So Alex is like an intramural soccer hero. So you were playing with your company, and then what happened to your knee?
I did it. I did my knee. Did it.
So it was like
playing on turf,
ACL, MCL, and
I did it all, baby. I did it all. Trifecta. Yeah. The whole deal. So that was another takeaway. Is we should not be playing on grass on top of turf. I'll take that to the grave. I think that contributed to those injuries at SoFi for sure. No. It did, bro. The pitch looked like shit. It was sliding around. You can't tell me that didn't matter.
No, that okay. So first of all, I'm gonna just say the pitches at Copa were bad. The pitch at SoFi was not that bad.
Not compared to Copa, but it was not good.
But the hammy that Hojlund pulled, there was nothing turf related.
I think the Leny one.
The Leny one possibility. I'm not ruling that out, But let's talk about, instead of the downers of preseason, let's talk about the highlights of preseason. That'd be Amad Diallo. Again, it's special. It's special, This player loaned to Sunderland last year. He was injured early on, couldn't break into the team. The manager kept playing Antony. Amad came on a goal, against Liverpool. All these amazing moments with his limited time. And then that is what got him through to playing more last season. So for him to even get that opportunity was tough for him. And then now for him to capitalize on it, and that's what you want to see. You want to see a youngster get some shine last year and double down because he's a dog and he's hungry and he's going to eat. And Amad, he's going to get 8 goals at least. I'm going to say 6 to 8 goals in the league. He's tricky. He can do it. And he's young. And it's he's going to be worth a lot of money. And when you're looking at him on the right and Garnacho on the left, obviously, you got Rashford who has to play as well, but we have some strong wing options despite investing $85 million into Antony.
It's funny. We have strong wing options when you exclude Antony. You basically everyone else that you bought before Antony is finally coming due, minus Facundo. I hope we sell him for his own sake this year. But yeah, the shining lights of preseason. Amad Diallo is the top of the list. He's taking his chance. And I'm with you there. It took too long, but he has taken it with both hands, and now he looks to be an absolute player. So he needs to get minutes. It's good. It's we're gonna have proper competition on the wings. That's the one place we have real depth. We have real depth on the left, right? You have Rashford and you have Garnacho. Then you have Amad. Then you have Sancho. Forget about Antony, and then that's
but you gotta have the striker. It's you gotta have the striker.
No, but I thought we were focusing on positives. I'm not going to the lack of depth up front. I'm just saying, we have wing play. That's a good thing. We got wingers. We got 2 right wingers. Because Garnacho can play on the right if Rashford plays on the left. You could play Amad there. You could play Sancho there, and we have not been in that position in a while. So I'm just trying to be positive, sir. That's it. Just trying to be positive.
Second positive, I'm going to say Mason Mount looks good. He looks sharp. He's a player. It's just kind of where is he going to play with Bruno? That's the biggest question. That's also the biggest question when we bought him. Why did we buy Mason Mount? And Bruno Fernandes is going to be he's durable. It's not like Bruno gets injured all the time. He's available every single game. He's a maniac. So how do you play Mason and Bruno together is the real question that I have. And I don't know if I have an answer to that one. But we'll find out. Also, Ruben Nestor on the touchline looks like a boss. I have to say, he will be the manager of Manchester United at some point. It just has that vibe that it's meant to be. That's not an anti-Ten Hag statement. That's just if you have a guy that good sitting in the number 2 seat, chances are that when shit hits the fan, people are going to look and be like, hey, why doesn't that guy just do it? So shout out to Ruben Nestor for setting the tone on the bench for Manchester United.
Yeah, I think other than the players that are coming back, whether it's Mount, I agree. He's going to feel like a new player this season because he missed almost all of last year. Where do you play him? Well, that's a good problem to have. Let's figure, if the manager knows what he's doing, he'll figure out a way to make Mount useful, Bruno useful, and make it all click. But beyond that, just the personnel they brought in, the Rudes, retooling the entire coaching staff from front to back is a positive, right? Because that was getting stagnant last year. And then Ineos' involvement, that's exciting to see, even from a preseason perspective. The fact that Ashworth was flying out with Wilcox and Omar Barada and the whole crew, and they were going to the the LA Chargers to meet, their front office and see their facilities. Like, I just like the involvement and the way they're thinking about it, finding comparable, sports teams that we can try and aspire to be around certain things, sports fitness, all this stuff. They're just thinking about it the right way. They're involved the right way. I think it's slowed down a little bit on the transfer front because all the team, for the most part. I think a couple guys, the head of recruitment's been left behind in England, but that's positive. Involvement from Ineos, smart people, and just Rude. I like that too. It's like he brings another influence. He could definitely be the next guy, the heir apparent, if they want to make a change. But, there are shining lights of preseason that give us hope heading into next year.
Yeah, and speaking of hope, we got Rashford who looks fit. There's been no real solid links with Marcus, so I'm glad to see him. I think Liverpool he's fit and had a great pass to Hojlund for his first goal to lead off preseason. So not only his distribution is great, we saw that in FA Cup as well, but he's featuring on the left wing, and we have options, right? So if Rashford's not firing, you could just throw Garnacho in there. But I think we really need Rashford to come good this year if we're going to punch above our weight. Also, Jadon Sancho looks good. Glad him and the manager played patty cake. They made up. Need this one. Haven't heard any links. If we get 35, 40 before the end of the year, he's gone. PSG would be ideal before the end of the window. So I still think there could be a last minute sale for Sancho. And then Amass and Toby Collyer. Obviously, these youngsters kind of highlighting and doing well. They're going to be involved in the first team. And you always look for the youngsters to break through. Haven't really seen a lot of Will Fish. And Amass and Collyer, I feel like we're knighted. They're going to be on the bench and they're going to get involved. The midfield, we need players, and obviously a left back. We're short, so both players going to feature. And Collyer, he can do it. Amass can. He's just going to be drowning a little bit. You gotta let him out there on the left and just let him drown a little bit and get up to speed. But he'll be fine.
Yeah, I love. There's a lot of things to be hopeful about, right? Marcus, it looks like he's going to get back into form. So critical. Sancho, prove his worth, contribute, maybe get actually sell him, and then those players for the future. Right? They're definitely the top. They're the next up. They're the next Garnacho. They're the next Kobe Mainoo. Harry Amass and Toby Collyer have real talent. Whether they're quite there at the moment, I think it's a little bit of a stretch. I agree with you, but you have to blood them. You basically have to throw them in the deep end and say, get after it.
Collyer can do it. He's Collyer the Destroyer.
Even him, he needs some time too, but they need minutes.
Brighton, you don't think he can handle Brighton?
Brighton cooked us, bro.
I'm less worried about him in the midfield than Casemiro. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's coming down to.
That's not a bad point. That's not bad. At least he can run around.
Exactly. He's going to be a little sloppy on the ball, or maybe misplace a pass or bad decision here or there. But man, he's got the engine and he's a dog. So let him run. And that's why I'm calling him Collyer the Destroyer. Areas of concern, injuries. We heard it all last year. How could you play good if you have injuries? Well, I want to see a different attitude about injuries. I want to see Ineos making moves because obviously Yoro and Hojlund down being massive. United need strikers. It's just, you look at Arsenal, they don't have a striker. If they did, they probably would win the league. What are you waiting for? What is United waiting for? It's we need a number 9. We need strikers. You can't be messing around. Also, Deadwood, Lindelof, Antony, Casemiro, not looking great. Gotta deal with it. So Ineos is probably going to be making some interesting moves into the summer. And then obviously Antony continues to underperform. It's honestly sad. When he came in, you kind of bust his balls a little bit. Then last year, it kind of was weird. I almost blamed the manager for not benching him earlier, but because it was kind of bizarre where he wasn't playing well. The manager's playing him and playing him and playing him. And it's kind of let it rest, let Antony rest. So maybe he needs a rest. But the one thing I will say about him is it's going to be starting his 3rd year. And it's I, at the American Red Devils, John, could coach him and be you got to go on your right. You got to go on your, you know what I'm saying? It's if it's not that hard. So the fact he isn't doing the easy things show you he's surrounded by the wrong people or really stubborn and That's it. So he's a one-dimensional player, and one-dimensional doesn't get you to that level at the EPL or is worth that price tag.
Yeah, I think it's more that he just doesn't have the capacity to go on his right foot. Like even Antonio Valente could only go on his right, and that was fine, and he was a very solid player for it.
No, you worked on it. Valencia made it work. Like I saw Valencia.
No, he was a solid player. He was a solid player because
he started out only going one way, and then by the end of his career, he was more multifaceted. Like when he was playing right back, he actually was able to like predictably like have someone question which way he was going to go, and then But Antony doesn't even try.
He doesn't have. There's a lot of red flags, right? So it's just like
that's a red flag.
At this point, you're right. I think the word is sad. I feel bad for him. He gets dogged. He's gonna get dogged constantly. He's always gonna be remembered by being a bust of a player at Manchester United. And there's a long list of players that have become busts at United. But it's just not working for him. It's not working for him. And every time, even when he came on a preseason, he didn't look good. He didn't look good. Even the Ethan Wheatleys of the world and the hand looked better. They showed a little bit more fight. And I think he needs to move on or go on a loan and just get some minutes, like go play in the Dutch league or something for a little bit. But at a certain point, you just feel bad for the guy.
No, absolutely. Any other comments on preseason, or are we going to bury this one?
Let's stick a knife in it, baby. Let's move on. We're back in England. Let's move forward. We don't have to look backwards anymore. That preseason is not one to remember.
Not one to remember, but I feel like a lot of moves and excitement around Manchester United at the moment. Sir, you want to jump into fan questions?
Let's jump into fan questions. I am pulling it up. Give me a minute, sir. In the vein of that, next signing's happening. What are you thinking? You think the defenders that we're going to get from Bayern, we're going to get those over the line first and foremost?
This is the part of the window where you can add a lot of value, right? So at the end of the day, Ineos is going to be playing it slow and then is trying to get people to make sort of panic deals. Because like the longer you wait for Bayern, if De Ligt doesn't want to play and neither does Nasir, then at the end of the day, it's going to be like easier for United to pry them away from Bayern on the cheap the later the window rolls. So it's a game of chicken at the moment. But yeah, I'm happy to jump into the fan questions here. At D_Cole, Onana with the shakes yet again. Is Big Dave still available? That's what I like to hear. Rashford and Mount look sharp. The summer off did them well. Collyer and Amass look like next up. If Lindelof never touches the field for us again, it'll be too soon. Casemiro is huffing along. Team needs more signings ASAP. I will caution that we are kind of if we do too much business, it's going to be like worse. So I feel like we're kind of have a good balance. Maybe two, like if Lindelof can go, or maybe we can get Sancho out and then we can get the Ligt and then Nasir and maybe one more attacking player. I think that's about as much as you'd want to do. Any more than that, and it's probably going to be even more scrambled eggs. And then Ten Hag's trying to manage everything, which we kind of know how that, the variability there. With Onana, that third goal didn't look great. And he's had a bunch of big spills. If you remember, even in the FA Cup final, that shot that he parried into the net, she should have saved that too. Onana's errors that he made last season, I like him a lot. I really like Onana. I think he has if you were to tell me who do I want to go grab a beer with, De Gea or Onana, probably Onana seems like a really fun guy. So I really like him. I like his feet. But man, he's got some howlers when it comes to like juggling the ball, or like he should save it, but he gets like a weak wrist to it. So, and he doesn't have those amazing cat-like reflex saves that De Gea does, but De Gea can't play the ball with his feet. So between the two, I don't know. I would still take De Gea in that he's big, he's brave, he's Spanish Dave, makes great saves, never shaves, flying through the air. Sir, come and take a shot if you dare.
Yeah, I was sticking with Onana. I think that was the right move. It was shaky, but he firmed up the second half of the season in a big way, and I think we would have been way lower than 8th if we had a different goalkeeper for that run. But like you said, he made an error in the FA Cup final. United did not get penalized for it because they also made an error that we took advantage of. Yeah, he has this in his locker, so it's a mentality thing. It's a focus thing. And I think the second half he was like the last man standing. There's a lot of kids. So it's a bit of a mishmash, but not great. But he still has a howler in his locker. And
No, but it's like that parrying the ball to the side is like, he's like something like it's kind of, and he also slipped and fell too in the game. That could be a turf issue, but like, there's like a little bit of like, for like the whole play out the back, you got to be really calm on the ball type. He's a little jittery, and I just hope that we don't see kind of what we saw last year with the Champions League. But again, I like Onana. I'm rooting for him, but De Gea, United legend, gotta be said. At Rolling the Deep, 1995, front office being slowed down by some pending sales. How much would you sirs guess the joint bid for De Ligt and Maserati is, and what do you think should be the fair price for both of them? Again, I don't know what the bid. I don't have a guess on the bid, but it's probably like it's insert low ball offer here is what Ineos is going to do, and then hopefully haggle somewhere in between for the rest of the summer. Fair price. De Ligt doesn't want to play for him anymore. What was that, 30 million? He has like one more year on his deal, 30. I think maybe 2, but like 30 million pounds.
Big wages.
And then 15 for Nasir, like 45 million pounds. That'd be fair. Was that 60 million, 55 million euros? Hard to keep track of all the currencies these days.
Yeah, 45 is like, that would be a great deal for United. I think up to 50, 55, given it's 2 players and they're both, decent age. They probably want 60 million pounds, or like 40 and 20. If we can get somewhere closer to 50, I think that'd be a good deal. But like you said, they're going to play the window in our favor, right? Because the closer they get, they also are getting another guy in. They want to replace De Ligt, of course. So this is where the musical chairs gets fun. We'll see how it plays out. But, they obviously play at Bayern Munich. That's the right pedigree. It's better than signing for players from Ajax.
At mhersey5, while watching Manchester United versus Liverpool, my 9-year-old son just asked me if Manchester United is going to be terrible for the rest of his life. Pain train is here. All aboard. Toot, toot.
Toot, toot.
I would say, Manchester United, it's a shame that the football is not as good as what the club deserves, because I feel like there's something right with the stars are in alignment when United are playing good football and it's exciting, and everyone in the world who supports this amazing club and the rich history is having a good time. So we haven't had a good time in a while. I think we're heading in the right direction. So maybe by his 12th birthday, we'll be in a title race. I think that's kind of what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I think next 3 years. I think this year's going to be rough. I think next year could also be rough, but there's the promise of a better future, which we haven't had in a while because the new crew's around, and they are already making the old crew look like the clowns that they are and they were. So it's not going to get fixed this year or even next, but the future is bright, and we'll get there. We'll get there with this team running the show, and we need some things to click as well. But I'm very hopeful for the future for Manchester United.
At Big Red Brian 84, I've gone full Muppet and hoping for 3 pieces of silverware and top 4 finish this season, sir. So is that the definition of full Muppet?
Yes. That would be full Muppet, maybe like 100%, like that, completely Muppet would be winning the league. But I think that's a big ask.
Yeah, we're like I would love to think we could compete for the title, and I know there's some like good vibes going around right now, but we're about to get Clap City. We don't
have a squad, bro. We don't have anywhere near the squad. We have Lindelof. We have Antony. We have
no, we just don't have a striker.
Casemiro. We don't have a fit striker, right? Xerxes, he could play 9, but he's not even up to fitness yet. So we have a lot of holes to fill.
Yeah, there's just so many question marks, right? It's just like there's so many question marks about like left back, midfield, striker. Like if you had an RVP who's like good for 30, you could hide behind like your midfield. But if you don't have a striker or you don't have like a midfield, it's like there's nowhere to hide. And especially for a team that struggled last year, I think you'd be doing like an exciting battle for top 4 is kind of like the Beats expectations would be like we're up there, us and Chelsea fighting to the end. We're playing good football. Youngsters are overperforming. The mood is back. You're fighting for 4th or 3rd. That to me is the upside case. The base case is like playing better football, but you're 6th or 7th. you're outside of the main European places and maybe get frisky in the EFL Cup. Carabao Cup, baby, let's go.
Yeah, all I want is there isn't a constant discourse around United that they're about to fire the manager. Like, if we're good enough that it's not every week Ten Hag's head on the chopping block,
horrible, bro.
I'll be happy, bro. That was the bar last year.
That sucks, man. It's like
it was not fun. It was not pleasant to be like every week, like they're firing him, they're gonna hire this guy. It was just like, Jesus Christ, we just watch football.
It was that was not fair to United fans.
No,
in
they
many
never
ways,
are,
because that's so much negativity, and like it's like, as much as like I like Ten Hag, it's just like you just got to clear the air at some point and like kind of reset. And I think they did this summer, but man, to go from January to May and not back the man was wrong by Ineos. Like,
it was
because it was so toxic and it was so bad. And even when he won the FA Cup and he's like waving goodbye to fans, like that's not right either. So the fact they should have come out and been like in March being like, we're backing him at no matter what, he's going to finish his contract, and just did that. And then we're like, okay, let's get Ashworth and we'll figure the manager part next. I feel like Ineos did kind of bottle that whole, like, also like after the season, they didn't say what they were doing.
For 3 weeks.
That's what exacerbated it, in my opinion. It was the non-comment by Ineos that like kind of fueled the flames.
There's an argument to be made that like he might not have won the FA Cup if he didn't have that spite motivation. So who the hell knows?
Yeah, it was so weird.
I mean, he had a bone to pick. He went into it like with an axe to grind, and I'm sure that helped motivate the players, thinking like this is this guy's last game. So either way, who knows, bro? A lot to look forward to. Can't wait for the new season. Right around the corner. Let's go. Community Shield, baby.
Yep. Well, that's it. That's the podcast. You like the American Red Devils. We're for fans, by fans. Please check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/American Red Devils. Also check out our store, americadevils.store. Get your Viva Garnacho scarf to support the Reds this season. Going to be unbelievable. Sir, you got our top 10 downloads the last 7 days.
You know it. Number one, how you doing? Los Angeles, California, Chicago, Illinois, Dublin, Ireland, Brooklyn, New York, New York, Philadelphia, PA, Oslo, Norway, Charlotte, North Carolina, Dallas, Texas, and last but not least, Houston, Texas. We appreciate all the American Devils listening week in, week out. We couldn't do it without you. The season is right around the corner. Preseason is done, and we are headed to Wembley next weekend to play the City Blues, sir. Guess what they're going to be chanting? I'm going to be chanting United Calypso. Have a great week, everybody. We appreciate all of you listening in, week out. Like, subscribe, check out our YouTube channel. It goes a long way. Sir, Fulham away end. We were there. Here we go.